Hi all, welcome back to more DD at Peleliu. This is my take 3, part 9. So, been away for a good few days. Watched back all the parts, released them all out there. Noticed a couple of mistakes, one which is kind of major. Caught them, but because I was way ahead of myself, if I'd been watching them back on a sort of regular basis, I would have caught them and probably been able to deal with it. Also, a few comments to talk about as well, so not quite sure where to start here. My guess is this part might include 20 to 30 minutes here of me going over some things and some comments and fixing some things. Well, what about trying to do the fixes first, Grant? Right, well, first of all, I made comments in the headers to both these mistakes. I know also, I think it was Rob picked up on the second mistake, the major one. I did reply on I had it in the header, and he was like, my bad. He usually looks there. I get that's fine. Sometimes you don't go and look at the headers, and I know some people, when they're using different devices, they can't actually see that as easy without going and finding it and whatever. But well, the first one is repairable. Um, Although I do feel like, I, at first I thought, could I be cheeky and alter the action that I'd done? What is the error first? The error was that I moved this tank from here to here. Right, he was sitting here. Now I'm not going to go back because everything's changed here. But if I look at the comment, well, I probably should look at the comment in the header. Hang on. Yeah, what I think, rather, because I'm looking back on my videos here, I'm just going to put that back to you just now. I'm just going to go back to take 3, part 1, and just go through the comments, and then I'll see my comments in the header, and we'll talk about that as well. So going back to part 1, I won't go over every comment that's there, but just the ones that sort of mean a little bit to the gameplay. So from Martin, he says I had an unlucky start. I know this is turn. What we're just about to move on to turn 8, and this is back in turn 1. He says we had an unlucky start. He says what you want in turn 1 fire phase is to draw the 3 colours that weren't drawn for disruption before the game. And yeah, if you think about it, that's what you do want in it, because you're not really fussy. They tanks at first land, they can't do an awful lot anyway. So he says you don't mind the tanks being hit if it means the disrupted positions remain and your first wave is hit less. So yeah, that makes sense. He also says if the tank in white 1 is not hit, so it's the one that comes in here, he says I would consider moving it to 0215 where you said it was suicidal. So this hex here, so he was saying he would consider moving it into there, and he says that hex flanks and helps to cut off the blue position, and the tank has a chance to survive a couple of turns thanks to its small size. Okay, there's a lot of bits in there that make some sense. Getting the tank in there, it's unlikely to be targeted because it's maybe only 1 or possibly 2 steps still. It might be 2 steps. But remember, tanks control the hexes right round about them. It doesn't matter what steps they are. So they control this hex for purposes of this guy being able to trace communication. So if you can get something else in there with 3 steps or greater, then you've got this guy cut off. So that's a good point as well. And also, yeah, it's got a chance to survive there because it's small, because it's only going to be 1 or 2 steps. And the other guys down here that are landing are going to get hit about. So good points there. Yeah, let's just move on to part 2, see if there's anything there. Right, so nothing from part 2. So part 3, this is where I make the mistake with the tank. And it's one of the first times I probably don't count out hex numbers, which I see myself doing sometimes, checking distance. And sometimes it's very clear that it's going to be moving closer. Anyway, so the tank it can't shoot anything, has an advance action. This is only a place it can advance to. And Grant decides that is getting closer to everybody. But unfortunately, yeah, I've got it marked here as the closest unit being A15, but what it's maybe here somewhere, and I count out the hex numbers, and it's the closest unit, and by moving there does not get it closer to the closest unit, so it shouldn't have moved at all, basically. So it shouldn't have moved from there to there, right? So let's just put it where I've got it just now, and then, well, can we move on from there? Yeah, it's still able to shoot from there, because remember, if it's in there, it's in there, it's in yellow, it can extend its field of fire, that's fine. But what the mistake that I do make is, because this tank should be here and not here, a barrage, and this was quite a recent, I think this was just the last US action phase that I barraged this tank, so this is why I can fix this one. But I was wondering about fixing it with a bit of cheekiness as well, because I can't barrage this, because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it can reach there, it cannot reach that hex, so it couldn't barrage it, and it successfully barraged it. Now I drew a card from that, all the cards are away now, I can't go back and sort that card out, let's just forget about that card. So this guy should not be disrupted, and this was just my last US action phase, so it's not that the tank should have acted again, and well, sorry, he should be in this hex still, so he should still be there, and he's not had the chance to do anything else. The one thing that he did do was shoot this HQ unit, wasn't it, while it was sitting here somewhere, I think, which was rather unfortunate, but it would have still done that if it had been in that hex or that hex, so that's fine. So that was a mistake, but however, I feel like I want to sort of allow myself to say, well, if you couldn't barrage that, wouldn't you have moved this tank? And I wasn't going to do it at first, and then I thought, well, you know what, why not? The other mistake that's going to come in is pretty brutal, and well, it's not overly brutal, but it's nasty, and I'm not sure I'm going to last the game out anyway. So and clearly, yes, maybe you could say that, well, if you couldn't reach that, you might have barraged this, but we've seen what good that does. It does very little good me barraging this position hex down when purple's still got 2. It can still fire for 2 and the other, so and this tank's not reachable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's out of range. Actually, I'm not sure we would be able to fire at that anyway, barrage that, because it's nobody in it field of fire. So there's not really anything else I would do with this tank apart from move it, and maybe, well, even just by moving it into this hex here allows me to then be in range of that. So I think I'm going to give myself that one, because we couldn't barrage. Okay, there was a card drawn. Let's just forget about that. But not only that, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, see, by moving it there, can also reach this hex, and this is important. So this is more important than that, to be honest. And okay, it was maybe after the fact that I realised that if we can get at least something attacking in there and get some of our tanks supporting it, we might have a chance, well, to do something to disrupt that guy, maybe at least. So I'm going to allow myself that cheeky move of moving this tank into here. So not sure what you all think about that, but well, you probably know I don't do these things well enough, I don't just like, yeah, we'll just do that, we'll just make up our own things, so I'm not, but I would have wanted to do something like that, and it made more sense to that. So I'm going to give myself that one and see. Like I say, I don't think we're going to survive this out anyway. So, and there was a comment from this this part as well. Yeah, it's when I didn't call Martin out as such, but I point us to when Martin talks about the fact that it tells you on the player aid regarding the tank units. So it shows in here. Yeah, that I think he's meaning this. It's on the back of the rule book. This, I think he's meaning this player aid, which talks about how the tanks fire, and it says fire. Sorry, that's here, armoured units, sorry, this one here. Fire if US units in field of fire may hit armour. So it says there may hit armour. It wasn't that bit he was referencing. It was, it's the same in here, but it was this bit that he was referencing, which is maybe a little more clearer, and it is, yeah, this armour bonus. So this is on the Japanese fire chart on this playrate. At least I think this is this one anyway. So it says, if a Japanese position fires with the armour bonus, all US armoured units in its field of fire are considered non-armoured. Right, that's if it's got that bonus. But the second sentence says, Japanese tank units always fire with the armour bonus. So it tells you there that they always get that automatically. So good enough. So he says, yeah, when I said played, I meant the separate page that covered Japanese fire where it's more clearly written. I agree it should be in the rulebook and suggested to John that he added that to his notes. Apparently there will be an updated addendum sometime in the future. So I replied, okay, yeah, see it now, but yes, surely Japanese tank units always fire with the armour bonus could have been squeezed into the rulebook somewhere appropriate. However, it's good to know that there's plans for an updated addendum. So, yeah, it sounds like Mr. Butterfield's going to adjust a few things that are maybe not so clear. There's another one that pops up shortly, and I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, so this is the next part. This is in part 5. Martin at the 2-minute mark, and Rob comes in at the 3-minute 39-second mark. And it's again talking about this when you finish close combat by exhaustion, and this is in the addendum already, and we've been over it a few times. But the wording sort of baffles me still. Hal came up with what sounded like was a solution, but it still didn't fit into the words, not from my point of view. When a close combat ends in exhaustion, surviving attacking US units are placed in an adjacent land hex or hexes closest to the direction from which they entered the close combat hex disrupted. Now, and the reason it makes sort of less sense to me as well is that Martin pointed out that the reason for this was to avoid having to remember where the units came from, and also to avoid overstacking. And I don't think the words make any of that clear anyway. It doesn't mean, that doesn't equal what Martin says in my opinion, and I'm only taking it that again, some of this could be the way that I read things as well though. Anyway, it's still a bit confusing. So Martin said he says, I suggested to John a few days ago that he should clarify this and a number of other unclear rules in the next addendum. So that's good to know as well. Rob says, it seems as though the better wording would be something like, place US units surviving the close combat in a land hex or hexes adjacent to the CC hex as close as possible, he's got that in bold, to the direction from which they entered the close combat disrupted. Yeah, I think there needs to be more than that, to be honest, Rob. I think if Martin says that it is a case of not needing to bother about where they're coming from, and also not needing to worry about overstacking, then it needs to be worded in that way, because if we do have this crazy scenario where you've got 6 units round about this unit here, and we want to send 1 in from each hex, right? Okay, it's never going to happen, is it? But you could see 2 or 3 coming in from, or you're normally going to just send 2 units in. It's unlike, hang on. Right, sorry, interrupted there. Yeah, so let's just say the 6 units come in from the roundabout and I'll go in. How are you going to remember which one came from which? So, and then the overstacking, let's say we send these units in from there, and then before the close combat we send other units up in here, so that there's going to be overstacking. If it's as simple as what Martin says, then it should, I can't really come up with the word then, but it should be telling you that it doesn't matter about if you've got to retreat them into a hex that's going to overstack, you're allowed to not do that if this is what the purpose is. And also it should just say the words that it's got to move to an adjacent hex. Because if it needs to be as close to where it came from, then you still need to know where it came from. And if the purpose is to avoid trying to remember all that, then... So, yeah, let's just say some words need to be adjusted, and that could be doing getting worded better for sure. So that's good to know that will come along as well. Right, so on to part 6, and this is where I make a major blunder that is, going to have a bit of an effect. I think I can still fix this. It's going to be a bit messy, and it means I'm going to have done some things that I probably wouldn't have done, but I guess it's the only way of fixing it. So what happened? Well, at the 42, I've marked it here, 42-minute, 20-second mark. It's in the header. So my comment in the header is, okay, this could be the downfall of the Peleliu as this hex is concentrated and I miss it. So the tank fires, it's got its extension, and this is what sometimes catches me out, and probably catches a lot of people out. The fact that you can, you put a unit in there and you think, right, it's safe, it can't be attacked by anything. Yes, it can, because this yellow's going to extend into there from that tank. So anyway, we had a hero with, and it's the guy that was 8 strength. I want to say it's him here. Yeah, it's this guy here. Why is he now on his own then? Did we move the other one up? See, I'm going to have to look back on this to see what actually happened. This guy here should have been hit. Is he a circle? He is. Yeah, it's him and him. So these two guys here were full strength. No, he was full strength, right? He was 8. He was an 8.3, is it? 8.2. 8.2. And he was as is, like that. Well, they were both sitting... I'm pretty sure they weren't sitting... No, they weren't sitting in the yellow. I don't think so. I think they were sitting in here. However, the tank's extended field of fire fires into here. But at the time, of course, this was 4 steps, and this was 3 steps, and that's 7 steps, and that means it's a concentrated hex. So, and the really annoying thing about it is, and I add this to the header as well, that this guy didn't have a hero on him at the time. That's since came about. I think that was the last event that we had, and I gave him the hero. I think so. Or maybe it was the first event of the last turn. He got a hero. So, yeah, he was 8 strength with a hero. No, sorry, that doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, but the fire phase was in part 7, Grant. This is me talking in part 6 here. Anyway, he didn't have a hero at the time. So why didn't I move him? And then this was sitting in here, and I was able to move him and then put this infantry HQ on top of him. And it's the best way to go about going for positions like this, is to have a unit with an infantry HQ, preferably one with 2 strength, but to be honest, it probably doesn't matter, because the likelihood of the infantry HQ getting hit is very low. Yeah, the likelihood of the other unit getting hit and the intense field of fire is obviously very high. But if you've got maybe 2 or 3 of them, and if you had 2 infantry HQs with units, and both the units get hit, then at least you've still got an attack, and then your tanks can support the attack as well. So, anyway, and that's what was really annoying about it, because I was watching back afterwards and I was saying, yeah, Grant, you're going to realise now that you don't want to stack something else. I wasn't looking at first regarding concentrating the hex. I was just saying it made far more sense to have this infantry HQ beside that 8 that heavy weapons unit. It made a perfect sense. And not only that, it meant that this hex wasn't concentrated, and if the tank did fire, it wasn't going to do anything to it unless it had the symbol. Now, the symbol on the card, I want to say, was a triangle. So we looked, and of course I had this guy here with 4 steps at the time, a circle. This guy here with 3 steps, both circles, but 7 steps, which means that both of them get hit. Oh, and it was multi-fire, right? Which I think I get away with the multi-fire, but I think Rob, the way he worded it as well, that's how I kind of thought. So what would have happened is, they wouldn't have got disrupted because but they would have both got hit, right? So he now should be C15. I'm just going to do this right now. Now he's moved further up now, so I probably wouldn't have done this, but that is also another catastrophic loss, which takes me to 12. What is it? Is it 16 we're sitting at? Right, we're at 12. And then this guy, who got hit after he moved into this intense red as well, and got disrupted, however, he would have got hit again. So he's going to be another one, isn't he? I'm assuming they still count for catastrophic loss. Yeah, I counted them the last time anyway. So actually he still has range. That's good then. So both of them should have been hit, right? Because they were both classed as having the triangle symbol. If it was a triangle that was on the card, it was a triangle or a diamond. It wasn't a circle. Because I was like, oh my God, thank God it wasn't a circle. But, not thinking, yeah, but how many steps is there, Grant? I think, let's not go into that. So they would have got 1 hit, and then this tank would have wanted to fire again because it's multi-fire. But the rules for multi-fire do say it's a completely separate fire action, isn't it? Let me just find it. It says fire if any US units in the tank's field of fire, right? So that's what it's done, and it's hit both the guys, not disrupted them. Then, if any US units remain in the unit's field of fire after resolving the first fire action, conduct a second fire action, resolved as a completely separate action from the first. So my take on that, and the way Rob actually comments as well, he thinks the same as me, that these are now not in a concentrated hex because it's a separate fire. So this guy would have been 2 steps, and this guy would have been three steps at the time. He's now been reduced again. So it would have been 5 steps in the hex, not making the hex now concentrated. So therefore, the fact they're circles, they wouldn't have got hit by the second fire. Now, I hope that's right. It feels right to me. If that's wrong and they should have got hit again, both twice, that would be even more devastating. But I'm going to assume that I'm getting that right there. So yeah, that was... and actually, the fact that he's still ranged just might give us a glimmer of some hope still here. But it's still amazing. I mean, that was two more catastrophic losses there. I didn't think I was getting. So, and I carried on. I says, I said the hex is concentrated and I miss it. Not only that, but I've already recorded 2 more parts after this without noticing it. This is what you get for bragging about having an almost error-free previous playthrough. Yeah, he was me sort of banging my own drum about, having a almost error-free playthrough, and then we've got the likes of this. And hopefully this could still count as a fix. I mean, it is. I've took the hits there, so if I was to carry on right through this game and have some kind of victory at the end, I would still be okay with that. Whether the move of the tank was a bit cheeky or not, maybe. But anyway, so I says, and well, not only that, because if I'd watched back in the video sooner, I would have caught the error and been able to fix it. I'm not sure that I can do that now, sadly. Well, that's the best I can do. Another annoying thing about this as well, I was watching back, I'm just talking about that I should have put the infantry HQ up beside it, and it wouldn't have been And then I could have preservation moved the other unit. Was it a preservation move the other unit into, I think it was this hex here actually, or something, where the HQ was. Yeah, to recover the red position. It must have been back here somewhere. It was a wee bit further back. Anyway, it's done now, and that's the best fix I can make. So yeah, I did get a comment from Rob saying, I hate to mention it, Grant, but they are concentrate target, aren't they, and both getting hit. But only once each is a lose concentration after the first hit from the multi-fire. That's the way I read it too. And yeah, I pointed out that it was in the header, and he was like, yeah, oh sorry, I didn't see that, but that's fair enough. Michael also commented that isn't that Japanese unit out of communication? I don't think it can build depth. Glad you're playing again. Yeah, it was indeed. I think I was talking about, it was maybe the unit in this green position where we had a unit either side of it, and I was talking about the possibility of it building depth, but it was cut off communication. So he was right. He was right there. I didn't make any mistake, but I talked wrongly about it. So it's fair bringing it up. So that was that. Right, and that's everything from take 3, but I'm actually going to rewind a bit here and just talk about something that happened back in the first take, and I got a comment from Kenny. So I mean, I must admit, I never recalled me doing this, but I should have gave the guys due and actually looked at the way he did. He's not time-stamped it properly, but it does say the 1 hour mark. So, and it is about the 1 hour mark. And this is from part 3 of take 1, you know, the first one. And yeah, I should have went and looked at the video before I replied to him, because he's spot on. Well, I say spot. I'm pretty sure he is. I guess I'm a little surprised that nobody else noticed this, mentioned that, commented on it. Anyway, he says, "Hi Grant, thanks for all these videos. And this one, in this one around the 1 hour mark, you start the Japanese fire phase, which includes the letter action M for the first time in the game. So it must have been, it's just turn 3, the M action kicks in, right? And this is the first playthrough we're doing of that, right? He says, you read out the rulebook guidance, page 26, about structuring the fire procedure. And let me just quickly read that. The bit that he's mentioning is, once lettered actions come into effect, the sequence in which you check Japanese positions for firing actions may have an impact on play. Therefore, check all positions matching the first leftmost position colour on the card first, then all positions matching the second colour, then the third. Within a position colour, check all position hexes in order from west, closest to you, to east. Okay, and I read that out and I talk about it. So he carries on. So you read out the rulebook guidance, page 26, about structuring the fire process by taking each colour in turn and checking each position from the west coast up the map to the far side. But you then did not follow that process and instead picked a sequence that gave you some benefit on which units would get hit by which colour on the basis that it was somehow your choice, ? It should have been red, purple, blue, but you started on the leftmost beach hexes with the blue casualties and then jumped to purple. My comment is really that I wondered if you realised all this and decided it wouldn't matter, or that you forgot the process should be applied now that the letter actions were in play, ? I should say that I have agonised with yourself over some of these situations and take great comfort when they are explained authoritatively. Well, yeah, I feel a bit ashamed about the fact that he's finished it with that and me explaining it authoritatively, and then also reply to him. I don't think it's a rude reply, but what it is, it's an ignorant reply by myself, because I should have went and looked at what he was talking about really in the video. I guess I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but when he says 1 hour, it's not. He's got the 1 minute time stamp, but he's meaning 1 hour, and if you go to 1 hour, that's where it starts. And So I'll read my first reply first, right? So I say, "Hi Kenny, yes, it may well be that I didn't practice what I preached here," smiley face. "The rules do indeed say," and I've just read them out there, so I'll not read that again. "The thing is that in the early game, you can sometimes be easier to check some positions out of course. Now, as long as it has no effect on other positions carrying out their actions, then there is no harm done." So that's fair enough up to there, Grant. But however, you've stated that, I carry on, however, you've stated that, but you then did not follow that process and instead quote, this is him quoting, "but you then did not follow that process and instead picked a sequence that gave you some benefit on which units would get hit by which colour on the basis that it was somehow your choice," unquote. So I've then carried on saying, "If you can highlight where there was a benefit one way or another by carrying out the procedure out of order, then that is my mistake and it should not have been carried out in that order. I don't recall this being the case, however, but if you just went and watched the video, Grant, you would have seen what he was talking about. But again, if you can elaborate on what benefits were achieved, then I can take a closer look." Well, before I gave him the chance to respond to that, I went and had a look myself because I thought, I can't really recall this, but when I watch it back, I remember it quite clearly. And I remember me doing this cheeky little move. And then looking at it back now, I'm like, my jaw was kind of wide open thinking, what are you doing there, Grant? Now, yeah, I don't think there's any argument to say that you can do it the way that I've done it, because it does clearly say that you do the letters in the order across the card. You know, this card, you do yellow first, you complete all of yellow, then you do red, then you do purple. Now, the rules do state that if you're able to hit more units, then sometimes you might have done yellow and you might have to come back to adjust yellow because yellow's shot at a target that red could have shot at, and now it could have shot at some other target. That's the only bit that changes things about. I don't think what I done was anything to do with that. So what I actually done was, it was down this blue position. It's difficult to sort of, blue was firing, purple was firing. Yeah, it was blue and purple that were involved. So if you can imagine, we're still down on the beach here. Blue's occupied by Japanese, so is purple. Purple's on the card first. Blue's on the card second. It's got the M action. No, I think even is blue. Well, actually, does he not say what way it was? He says it here, doesn't he? Red, purple, then blue. So blue's actually third in line. Thing is, there wasn't any red along here, I don't think, and it was mainly purple and blue. But the lettered action had just kicked in, and before the lettered action's kicked in, it's much easier just to do it in that way. But you do have to be careful. And the fact I was talking about, I can be cheeky here and do this in a different order, and I'm like, Grant, no, you can't. That's why I'm quite surprised nobody else pulled me up for this. So what I decided to do was there's three-step units that could be hit. There's only three-step units, and there's a multitude of two-step units and a one-step unit that can all be hit. Blue can hit 2 positions and purple can hit 2. So if I do purple first, 2 of the 3-step units get hit, and then blue shoots the other 3-step unit and a 2-step unit. If I do blue first, and this is where I get cheeky and say, well, I can do this first. What happens is blue's then going to hit 2 of the 3-step units, and purple then can't hit the other 3-step unit, and it's going to hit 2 2-step units. So I keep one 3-step unit alive by doing it in a different order than what I'm supposed to. I mean, that's surely wrong. It's surely wrong. If it was going the other way about, see, the thing is, it doesn't, when it says in the rules about you need to hit as many units as you can, it doesn't specify that you need to be able to hit 3-step units before 2-step units before 1-step units. It doesn't say that. It wants to make sure that this can hit 2 positions and this can hit 2 positions. And I think that's maybe what I was thinking, and that's why I thought I could cheekily manoeuvre it in this way. And to be honest, if it had been, what I suppose I'm thinking about here, if it had been before the lettered action came out, and this is where I wanted to look again, but I'm sure we've looked for this before. If it was before the lettered actions appeared, do you have to do the fire in that order on the card, left to right? I mean, I kind of feel like you do, but is that in the rules? I mean, it talks about it in the rules when the lettered actions come into play. Let's just see if it is in the fire phase though, because it could well be. And if it's written there, then the thing is, the lettered action had just kicked in, so I've no debate here. I mean, that was a cheeky, horrible move that I should never have got away with, I think. Yeah, I get the feeling that it's maybe not spoke about in that way. Here's resolving Japanese fire. Upon drawing a fire card, resolve Japanese fire for all positions matching any of the 3 colours appearing on the card. I mean, right away there it could state, do the first colour first. And then it carries on for each Japanese position. Check each hex in its field of fire. Refer to the chart. Use the rule. There's nothing in here that tells you that until lettered actions come along, I don't think there's anything in there that says that we need to resolve yellow first over red over purple. Now bear in mind, you do have to comply with the rule that says, if a Japanese unit can hit that, and you can't dodge it with that. Well, I wasn't dodging that. There was 4 units still being hit. What I was dodging was which units were getting hit. But I've no excuse because the lettered actions had kicked in. But I think, yeah, I'm still looking for where it tells you. I mean, it should really say that you do them in that order, isn't it? I can't see it there. I can't see it. Anyway, and of course, I suppose maybe that's me trying to dig myself out of the hole that I've got myself in, and the fact that the M action had only kicked in. So before the lettered actions come in, I might be right in saying that there's no order to which you do the colours. I don't know, maybe somebody will point me to where it actually does state it even before the lettered actions come in. However, so I had to quickly reply. I had another reply to Kenny, and I said, "Hi Kenny, just a follow up to my reply. I eventually decided to do what I should have done at first and rewatch the video from the 1 hour mark, smiley face. And you're indeed quite correct. I can only think that as this was early in my playthroughs of this game that I hadn't grasped things fully yet. Strange though, as the other games in the series work very similar and I've done playthroughs of them. This was a bit of a mess and I'm surprised no one else pulled me up for this one. I'm pretty sure that my take 2 and take 3 improve on this nonsense. Thanks for bringing it to attention." And I should have added, and I apologise for not looking at things properly there. Well, I'll apologise here if you eventually get around to, if you eventually watch this part, Kenny. I was a bit ignorant, rude of me to not go and at least watch the video that you were talking before I made my first reply, which is a bit silly. That's everything, I think. And we're at 38 minutes, so I'll put a comment in the header of that, and maybe just, I don't know, maybe we'll get the Japanese fair phase in, possibly. Give myself, I'll put this back on charge. Yeah, so, and remember, catastrophic loss is 16, we're sitting at 13. So, it's quite possibly not going to last, this. Don't know what I'm planning on next. I'm actually I've ran through almost a playthrough of that Trismegistus, and I think I might chuck the camera onto that. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but because I don't know if this is going to end suddenly. I'm not ready to set up another war game as yet. I've not looked at rules. I'm thinking combat, but I need to spend some time in the rulebook of that. Yeah, and even the other two options, I need to get my head in the rulebook for that. So unless I have some daft idea about starting this again, but I don't know. I could maybe. I think I might be punishing myself. Okay, there's 40 minutes, so let's get a little bit gameplay. So I'm going to do we've got a landing check. Well, we do need to draw a card for it, but nothing's going to happen to it. So there we go. Drift right. It's a red triangle, so it can't drift, can't get hit. And it's going to go. Oh, right, that was silly then. I specifically brought that back there too, did I not? I think brought that engineer back. That was daft, Grant. Well, I suppose they're in command anyway, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll land it there then, I suppose. Next turn? No, there's nothing coming in next turn. A action kicks in next turn. Oh goody. Right. On the event then. So event for turn 8. First event for turn 8. That's a reinforcement this time. Damn. Okay. 9.3. So it's one to be a position adjacent, and then priority 2 is within 2 hexes. This is 3 away, fortunately. There's 2 away. A3. And remember, this is different. It doesn't talk about the position being unoccupied. It doesn't need that when you're placing a reserve. Pretty sure that's right. Place the unit with a depth marker in an empty Japanese position, hex, and communication. So that's quite clear. It's not saying that it's got to be unoccupied position. So yeah, there's nothing adjacent. Yeah, that's it, Grant. That's 3 away, that's 4 away, that's 2 away. So it's going in there, and it's getting depth as well then. That's pretty bad. It's not immediately bad, but it's bad. And then there's the reserve. Okay, that was the event. Let's just push on and draw a Japanese fire card, I think. Let's do it. No artillery. We've got the P action in now. So we've got the R action, the P action, yellow hitting leaders. A yellow tank hitting leaders. That could be that doesn't stretch to that one, but it does to that one. Now hold on. Yeah, because it's just gonna fire or advance, and it can fire. Oh man, right. Okay, don't jump the gun. Right, yellow, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure as my playthroughs went along, I have been following these in order, haven't I? I think that was sloppy though. If you watch that bit back, it was messy. I'd say it was early on in my playthrough, so I don't know if that's a good enough excuse or not. But okay, so yellow hitting leaders. Well, yellow's firing here. Oh man, look. Yellow hitting leaders. This could be devastating. It's a circle that's on the card, so this guy's getting hit. And remember, it's going to disrupt him as well. There's nothing in intense yellow. Yep, he's taking a hit. Because it's the only thing yellow can hit. That yellow position can hit. And it's a leader. What we got? Blue and green. Yeah, no, you know what? Well, mind you, he's a leader. He's not going to get grief again, is he? Okay. I don't think we're finished yet hitting leaders. It's just not the colour we wanted to have with leaders. So any more yellow, this is out of range, this is out of range, and now we've got our yellow tank. So it would either fire or advance. Well, it's got US units in its field of fire. Here, I mean, it might well hit some of these first, but it can hit two things, that's the problem. So it's circle, oh, we know this guy's a circle, isn't he? So he's instead, there's nothing in intense yellow, but remember he extends his field of fire in there. So he's getting hit, that's a triangle, that's a circle too. Well, our leader's getting spared, but I think we're closer to defeat. Now hold on, this comes down to here as well, Grant. That's a circle as well. I don't think that's that one's going to be closer or not. Well, the first one to get, the first priority is steps. He's 3 steps. So F25 is another catastrophic loss. Yeah, you're going down, Grant. You're going down again. F25 is catastrophic loss number 14. Not disrupted. And then the second hat stretches into there. So he's a circle. I prefer him not to be hit, and I prefer him. Wait now, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, can't catch a break, eh? And he's not, is he? No. So it's most steps. These have both got 2 steps. Then it's nearest. I'm pretty sure anyway. Yeah. Priority, fire dot priority. Unit with most steps. Closest to firing unit, then player's choice. So this is closest to the firing unit. So C15 takes a hit. Not disrupted though. So he's now, got a hero on him, he's like 1 step now. Lovely. Red's not in the card. Yeah, we weren't thinking about that, were we? Just one of the ones you just chuck the card over. I think I kind of better though. So I'm going to mark them as being hit from the yellow tank position. Okay. Moving along, any more yellow? This, I don't think fires into anything, does it? Oh, it's just round about itself. That one's too far away. Too far away. Nothing more for yellow. Right. Done enough. 3 hits. Was it? 3 hits, yeah. Blue with the R action. Right. So first blue, I think. See, it's technically not true. If I'm wanting to do things by the book, this is not the first position you would be doing. Right? Just going back to what Kenny brought up. I mean, okay, what he brought up was a shambles what I was doing here, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't care so much about this bit. But you're meant to go from here out once you find the blue position. So he's technically not the first one we should be looking at. It should be this one here, and then that one there as well, and then coming back to that one there. It's very unlikely to matter the fact that these are so far away, you know. So I think we're okay with that. We can look up here and then move along, and you can probably see if something's going to be. But then again, by saying, I can do a cheeky wee move here by just taking the hit on that guy instead of that guy and just making my own rules up. That's terrible, Grant. That shouldn't be anywhere near your way of thinking as well. You know, you build yourself on somebody that plays by the rules, and just made up your own rule book that for that playthrough, it seems. Okay, we'll just look here just now. So this guy's first. He's no US units in field of fire, so he's want to redeploy, isn't he? Would he no, he would only resupply if he had US units in field of fire. So he's nowhere to redeploy. Is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, see, that's 6 away, because that is getting closer to that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. moving there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that's not getting closer. So he's going to do nothing. There's no other blue up there. Empty blues have to be within 3 to reinforce. And no blue position tank. So nothing more there. This is not within 3. Right, so we're coming across to these. And they have US units in their fleet. No, they do not. Ooh, yeah, we moved everybody out. That could be good. Yeah, I do recall moving them out, yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, because that's quite a nice position, that, isn't it? Until they start assaulting us. Well, you're maybe not going to get to the next turn. Now you got the P action to come, so yeah, maybe some disruption. Anyway, so they have no US units in their field of fire, so they want to redeploy as well, then, aren't they? So I don't think they can. I mean, we would consider this guy first. He's nowhere to redeploy to, and he's nowhere to redeploy to. So yeah, there's nothing doing there. So that was quite fortunate. And then we have a blue here that's nowhere to redeploy to, and a blue here that's nowhere to yeah, we need. It's all a bit congested there, isn't it? There's no positions for them to move to. They need the action to come in, so these guys start charging in and all. So that was pretty harmless blue. And then we've got green with the P action, right? No, it wasn't any unoccupied blue that was within 3. No, this was the closest, I think. That's fine. Yeah, the P action, unoccupied P does nothing. So it's just either, if it's got US units in its field of fire, they're all disrupted. And if it's not, it's going to disrupt 1. Within 4 hexes, I want to say. That's the one that's worded wrong. Right, so green here, 1, 2, 3. Well, you can see there's no US units in field of fire, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4 away from both of these. So it can disrupt. Let me get that action up, because let's see, it's worded wrongly on the chart. I know it's within 4. I've looked at it that many times, but on just 1 US unit within 4 hexes of the position. But how do we pick? Well, that's the one that talks about the water. This range may be traced across shallow hexes, but not sea hexes. If more than 1 US unit, disrupt the closest, then the unit with the target symbol, then the greater attack strength. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. They're both the same distance away. Greatest attack strength, yeah, it's probably going to be that guy on top, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So he's disrupted. That's that. So that's green. The fact it was a double, does that do anything? Hang on. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mention any of that. Whereas if this was mortar fire, it would, because if it had depth, it would hit 2 things, wouldn't it? It doesn't do that. No. No, I've not seen that anyway. Okay. Right, moving on. Green, there's no green tanks. No. Up there. We've got green up there, but these are too far away. And all they do, they need to be within 4 to be able to disrupt. They don't do anything else. Right. No green there. Right. Problems here then. There is a couple of them then, because we've got this guy and this guy. Right, well technically then this guy should be looked at first. because this is a case where it could overlap. 1, 2, 3, because he can fire to that, and he can also fire to that and that. So this guy goes first because he's closer to us. I want to say they're not in the positions field of fire, no. And the same for that guy. Pretty sure. Green does not fire on an right. So he's going to be able to disrupt 1. It's closest to first, doesn't it? Did we say? Yeah. So closest to first is going to be on one of these 2 stacks. It's going to be a hammer. And then is it more strength? Then, oh no, stop. It was target symbol first. Hang on, stop. I missed that. More than 1, closest, then unit with a target symbol. Right, hang on, come back to that. And target symbol's a circle. Use a diamond. Use a circle. Okay, so he was the target. And to be honest, they were both diamonds anyway. And this guy's already disrupted, so we did get the right one, but in the wrong order. So first of all, we're looking for closest, then we're looking for a circle. That's a triangle. He's got 8 strength. Oh, there's a circle anyway. That's going to be him now. So he's going to be disrupted. Now, hold on. He had the leader. Yeah, because that guy was down the bottom. So hang on. Put the leader on first, Grant. So he's disrupted. He is not. So that was from him. But that is the right order. So now this guy can't. It's not that he could do somebody else. I think that's right. Because he's going to be able to disrupt somebody. Anyway. So, well, let's move on to him next. So this is going to be 3 away. Oh, these are all 3 away. So looking for a circle within these. No. That's good. I didn't want either of them being disrupted. Although this one's going to be, unless this turns out to be a circle, Grant. Come on, please be nice. Oh no, it's not. He's got 6 strength as well. Damn it. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can reach out to here as well, but these are within 3. And yeah, there's no circles around there. So then it's a great strength, and that's what it's going to be 817. Yeah, he's got 6. Okay, so A17 gets disrupted as well. I can't remember. We must know something about this guy. Demolition's brown and we don't know his depth. He's in jungle. I'm still getting the demolitions and the browning from that. But it's going to attack at 12. Well, tanks may be able to be involved, but we'll just need to wait and see. Right, so that was the disruption from that green position. We've done that one already. This one's too far away. That's it. That's a run. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't a bit of disruption. It wasn't terrible, probably. I think we got another hit though, didn't we? Didn't we get another catastrophic? I think we did. So that was the fire card. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Come back to the second event later, hopefully. Yeah, I don't have all the time right now. Yeah. 16 and we're sitting at 14. Well, we still have the second event to come, but you just feel like you're hanging on though by a thread. Red didn't come up. we've got a chance. We're going to get a shot at red anyway. We might be able to do something to this purple. We might be able to get this guy out of the fire. Well, that's going to be an action, isn't it? Yeah. Just want to avoid other casualty losses though. And yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll plod on for now, but I don't really hold much hope on us getting any better than any better than last time. Because if you're sitting about 3 or 4 losses away from defeat, moving into that night turn, with the counter-attack event not happened yet, then I think it's game over, isn't it? But I mean, this is only turn 8. It's 13 is the night turn. I don't even think we're going to get there. But we shall see. Okay, I'll be back later. Cheers.